If you're thinking about upgrading your voice AI systems to GPT-5, stop right there. Despite all the hype, GPT-5 could actually break your agents and end up costing you more. In this video, we'll be looking at interesting insights that you do not want to miss. And hey, if we haven't met yet, I am Mo from Stellar AI, and we build voice AI agents for small to medium-sized businesses to streamline their phone operations. And if you want to see how voice AI could look specifically in your own business, then I do invite you to check the first link in the description below. We offer 5 free consultation slots per video, so if you're interested, I invite you to pick your slot as soon as possible. And with that said, let's jump into the video. Should you switch to GPT-5 if you're using 4.1 or 4.0? Well, the answer is it depends. It depends on the platform that you're using and the use case that you have. So a practical example here is that if we go to Vapi, for example, and we select any model, and well, if you want to access GPT-5 or any of the 3 new models from GPT, so GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, and a Nano, you can pretty much find them right here in the model section. And as you can see, they are quite interesting, especially the Mini and the Nano versions in terms of the pricing that we get. So the Mini version is actually quite cheap, to not talk about the Nano, which is incredibly cheap. So if we click on publish here, it might go down to 10 cents per minute. So that's quite attractive. But as you can see in Vapi, if we're looking at the latency, it tends to be on the higher end, which if we compare to at least I'm currently using a lot of GPT 4.1 and 4.0. So although we're talking about a similar cost, we are really reducing the latency. And I think if we go and go for 4.0, we're probably going to go and reduce it even more. Exactly. But again, here, of course, you don't feel it as much. But of course, if we're adding let's say, double the latency, as we were seeing with the GPT-5, then perhaps in Vapi, we're going to feel it. That being said, like overall, it depends on how the look and feel, of the agent. So you want to test it yourself to see if it's right for you. So GPT-5 tends to have, let's say, shorter answers compared to, for example, 4.1, which tends to be a lot more conversational. I, for example, really like the fact that it can be more conversational, and when need be, let's say you try to reduce it down, but some people prefer to have an agent that is, let's say, more concise, direct, shorter answers, and it gets through in the call easier. So it really depends on the use case. So you want to try them out. And I would assume that this will change, especially in Vapi specifically. Like this GPT-5 would be optimized for voice, and perhaps in a few weeks or months, we'll be able to use it for it. I guess the price would not be the problem, but perhaps the latency. And I say Vapi specifically because if we go to Retell, the experience is actually different. So in Retell, we're able to see that GPT-5, comes, of course, pretty similar pricing. I mean, here the prompt is also shorter. So I guess if we were to make it longer, that would go up. But the latency is the key difference. So let's take, for example, the default GPT-5, that of course is higher, but they have an option which is fast tier, which here doesn't really shave off anything actually. Let's see. So yeah, if we see overall, the prompt is, not slightly, but it's a lot faster. And it also is a lot more usable. So I would say when it comes to Retell, GPT-5 might be a more attractive entry offer here. So I would consider perhaps using it in Retell specifically. And considering the fact that it has more concise answers and it's able to do really good tool calling, GPT-5 might be the model to go for. Mini, when it comes to Retell. And I say Mini specifically because with the reduced cost and the latency and the ability to do tool calling efficiently, it's actually resembling really GPT 4.0 or 4.1. Now, why I would still consider using 4.1, and I personally would still consider, use 4.1 is because of the context window. So 4.1 has 1 million tokens context window, which means that we're able to put inside really long prompts and really, let's say, detailed knowledge bases if we want directly into the prompt. But that's more of a stylistic, let's say, choice of putting the information onto the prompt. But overall, the longer we make the prompt, the more, let's say, inefficient it might become, and the more costly as well it will become. So it's really a trade-off where we want to put more information into the prompt and where we perhaps want to put all the knowledge base into a RAG system. So perhaps to do tool calls and get the information that we need outside, let's say, of the agent. So there is really, let's say, a trade-off here, or perhaps different ways to see this. But to be honest, for now, it's good to perhaps continue with GPT-4 or 4.1 and see how it evolves. But if I were to use Retell, I would still test and try. So it really matters, let's say, that you go on the platform, a specific platform, and test them all and see which one fits best. Because also you will notice that when prompting for a specific model, the same prompt might not adjust. So it's good to test and see what feels and works better. All right, so as you saw, there is a lot of evolving things, and I am actually looking forward to see GPT-5 Mini perhaps come with an update, especially in Vapi, and see it perhaps improve in the latency side, because then I think that would be a really attractive agent model to use when I decide or want to have shorter, more concise answer, and overall, I guess a cheaper model as well. All right, so I hope this gave you a bit of an idea or an understanding of where I sit when it comes to GPT-5. No, it's not total no. I still would really like to see it evolve, not like I said in the thumbnail, but I will keep you updated on how it progresses, and probably you'll see me in the next tutorials changing into GPT-5 as it improves. Awesome. With that said, I thank you so much, and I see you in the next video.